Hello everyone and welcome inside to American Fork High School for round 2 of the high school football playoffs on KSL Sports Rewind. JT Wistersill with you on the call. Brian Brown joining me shortly as we have a fantastic game on hand for you in this second round of the playoffs. The American Fork Cavemen about to take the field. The 7-3 Cavemen had a first round bye. The 7-4 Sentinels had to go play in the first round. They got a win over Westlake. It was a close one though, 28-25. They avenged one of their earlier season losses to the Thunder, and now are going to look to go on the road and get a monumental win as the Cavemen take the field. First, starting out with American Fork. This is a team that was still trying to figure out what the quarterback situation was going to be early on in the season, but Champion Edwards has taken that job and run with it in strides. And when I say run with it, I mean it literally as well. A fantastic athlete in every sense of the word. Also can beat you with his arm as well. I got a chance to see him a couple weeks ago against Pleasant Grove, and he was sensational. The Cavemen have really good wins on the season. Look at it. They're one of West's only 2 losses. And yes, the Cavemen themselves have a few losses, but very good teams. I'll add that. A road loss at Bingham, also lost to Corner Canyon, then of course Skyridge, so only the top teams in 6A basically. As for Mountain Ridge, they got off to a great start to the season. They started off 4-0, one of the last remaining unbeaten teams. Then they suffered a tough loss and have suffered a couple overall. I mentioned the Westlake one, that was their first loss, but wins against Wasatch, Olympus, West Jordan. This is a strong team in their own right as well, and they definitely have an opportunity to come in today here at American Fork High School and get a win, led by Jackson Reiser, Samisi Kinney, Junior Sia as well. But Champion Edwards, Hunter Clegg, the whole crew for the Cavemen, going to try and have something to say about that. And we're just set to send it away. We appreciate you all joining us here on KSL Sports Rewind. We have great coverage for you across the state all day today as high school games kicking off at all kinds of times, 3, 4, 5, 6. It varies everywhere, but we are excited to get things underway here at American Fork as the Cavemen send it deep. This one will be returnable, or we did touch the very back of the end zone right over there, so going to be a touchback on the first one as we'll get our first look at Jackson Reiser and this Sentinels offense, one of the best ground games in the state with guys like Samisi Kinney, as we talked about. No Caden Uluabe still for the Sentinels. He got hurt earlier in the season. One of the most sensational players in the state of Utah, the Cal commit. His presence will be felt. Not today because of that loss, but as we mentioned, a potent offense here, going to have an opportunity to get on the attack. So the Cavemen, defense set, Sentinels offense set, C2 motion across as we're ready to get round 2 underway. It's a low handoff, and they'll fake it, all day to throw. Reiser looking, waiting, lofting, no one open. Kind of a little bit of a wobble pass as well. Might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. Was a little bit to tell. A fantastic run fake there on the play fake as it totally sucked the defense in. But the coverage by that Caveman secondary was impeccable. Nowhere to go with that football. So we'll reset it on second down. Reiser pitches to the outside to Kinney. Kinney fumbles it and has to jump on top of it. Did Kinney get it? No, he didn't. The Cavemen quicker to it, capitalizing on the chaos, and they'll turn it over, and American Fork will get the ball inside the 15. It'll officially be spotted at about the 13. What a turn of events as American Fork with a monumental play as Kinney couldn't quite get that one in. So here comes Champion Edwards and this American Fork offense. Actually, it'll be Lincoln Jackson first, so no Champion Edwards to get us started here. So Lincoln Jackson with it. Give it on the pitch this time, running out ahead is Watts. Watts charging forward. Sentinels meet him for a minimal gain. So this is something interesting that we do see Lincoln Edwards first. I can't tell at the moment if Champion Edwards is on the field amidst all the chaos, but it's not the first time we've seen Lincoln out there this year, and will be a storyline to watch as we move forward in this one as well. So it'll be 2nd and 7. Looks like the ball's on the 10 officially after the minimal gain. They'll look all the way to the outside, lofting it up, and it's hauled in as well. That's a touchdown for the American Fork Cavemen and it's courtesy of their star receiver, Trey Roberts. Beats the Sentinels for 6 for the early strike. So a nice early opportunity here for American Fork to jump up by 7 after the 6 points were punched in by Trey Roberts. The elite receiver goes up top and brings it down. See the crafty route running there. And the PAT is through, so can't start it much better than that if you're American Fork. They lead it 7-0 with still 11:14 to go in the first on KSL Sports Rewind. Not the start the Sentinels were hoping for, as American Fork quickly punched it in off the reception from Trey Roberts from 10 yards out. This one will take a bounce, and it'll go out of bounds as well. So not the intent that time by the Cavemen, as that one gets a little too long. It was Tate Farnsworth on the kickoff. So the Sentinels get a little bit of help after that penalty. Move it back to the 30. Or excuse me, actually it'll be the 35. This is a Mountain Ridge program that you think about it. I was at their very first ever game when they played Olympus. They lost that one. I believe it was upper 50. It might have even been 50-0, but since then, just an incredible turnaround for this team as their guys have gotten more seasoned, and it's been fun to watch the Sentinel program develop. Now behind early. Reiser with time, rips it to the outside, and it's hauled in. Nice leaping catch to the outside for the game. That reception made by Kai Meza. So Meza with the 8-yard reception. So Reiser on 2nd and short. Still 11:09 to go after he got out of bounds. Give it to Kinney short, and the Cavemen were ready for it. Hunter Clegg and that defensive line came to play as they're in on the stop. Mentioned Samisi Kinney just talking about the season. He's had over 1,000 yards on the ground. Been extremely productive, one of the most productive backs in the state. Him and Kedu Uluwave met for a great 1-2 punch. Obviously no Kedu Uluwave today, so Kinney and the rest of the Sentinels backs going to get a lot of work. No gain on the play, so it'll be 3rd and 2 from the 43. Reiser motions Kinney out. Saw a little bit of movement, and it will be a false start. That time it looked like the tight end, being Peyton Jones, was just trying to move forward a little bit and just lost his footing. Took that extra step, and just not what you want to see happen if you're the Sentinels here early, as the Cavemen's elite defensive line now going to be able to just give it all they got on those pass rushes. So 10:28 to go in this one. We'll shift it back. Ball now spotted at the 38 after it was on the 43. So Jackson Reiser, the elite baseball player committed to the University of Utah, gonna have to get it with his arm. He'll drop back, and it's deflected in the air. Big time job by the Cavemen defensive line, able to get those paws up and swat it. Difficult to tell who was the one who got the hand on it, but either way, this Cavemen defensive line, that's 2 drives in a row now where they've been absolutely dominant, resetting that line of scrimmage a few yards back. You see early there as well, even just the tight end for the Sentinels wanted to get an early jump on it and ended up falling short of it. Still see a late guy come on for the punt team, so just an unfortunate start for the Sentinels as this one is booted away. Cavemen came after it as well. It's going to get great air on it, and before it takes a nice bounce. That's a nice punt for the Sentinels by Thomas Tenney. So it'll bring back out this American Fork offense. They made quick work last time with Trey Roberts able to haul it in. Roberts, the senior, 195, as I mentioned, been the premier target on the outside. But he's not the only one as well. Another guy to keep an eye on for these Cavemen is Josh Andrus. And it'll once again be Lincoln Jackson out there as well, so not entirely sure what's going on with Champion Edwards, but Jackson made a great throw last time to Roberts, and we'll see what he can do on 1st and 10 from the 25. They'll start it on the ground. It's Watts following the blocker straight ahead. Sentinels all over it. Gain of about 2. So did just spot Champion Edwards. So Champion Edwards is on the sideline, appears completely fine. Could just see different package here early, as they've decided to roll Lincoln in this one. Watts will remain with him in the backfield. See Andrus lined up off tackle. Sentinels defense shifting around, getting into position. Jackson drops back, looks left all the way, gets it out to Watts. Watts charges ahead and wrapped up out of bounds. Gain of about 6, so it's going to make this one 3rd and short. Looks like it'll be about 3rd and 2. So they'll call it about a gain of 6 officially. See the quick decision making from Jackson there. He diagnosed it up pre-snap and was decisive with where he wanted it to go. Now on 3rd down. Gets the movement needed to move the chains. The Sentinels defense was ready to bring a blitz, and they got too over-aggressive that time, moved a little early. And because of that, it'll be an easy 1st down for the Cavemen. See the neutral zone infraction come in. Difficult break for a Mountain Ridge defense that had made 2 pretty good plays overall to keep it in check. So Lincoln Jackson, the junior, 6 foot, 175 QB. Now has his team from the 38. Jackson fakes it to Watts, gets it to the outside. And it's brought in on the quick slant. That's time it's Jace Hull. That play action pass so effective. Something we've seen a part of the game of football just grow and grow over the seasons. And it helps move this Cavemen offense into better position. Under 9 to play now. Jackson on the drop. Looking, airs it out. Beautifully thrown ball is hauled in. Crossing the 15, 10, and into the end zone. That's a touchdown for Wade Stringham. And the Cavemen jump out to the quick lead once again. We're not even halfway through the 1st quarter, and that's the 2nd touchdown. What a throw by Jackson, who had a man open and hit him in stride as Stringham crosses the goal line for 6. Can't draw it up much better. If you're American Fork than that, I can't imagine head coach of the Cavemen, Aaron Beam, wanted a better start than he's seen so far. This PAT to make it 14-0. The Cavemen bashing the Sentinels here early. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Cavemen dominating the outside on the 1st drive. It was Trey Roberts who hauled it in. Then on the 2nd, it was Wade Stringham with the long catch and run for the touchdown. It was a beautifully thrown ball by Jackson, and Stringham able to get behind the defense. Then you see the long strides, able to get in for 6. Stringham listed on this roster. And we actually went with a quick onside kick there. Wow, Caveman think they might have it. Wait and see how it clears up, but what an onside attempt from American Fork. They're trying to really get out early. Looks like the Sentinels are clapping, saying they have it. So how about the catch that time? We saw from Stringham, and then now they try to go with the quick onside, just doesn't work. So a little bit of life for this Sentinels defense potentially. Also want to make a quick correction for American Fork. It was actually Jet Nelson who hauled in the touchdown pass. That's what happens when you have 2 14s listed on a roster. It makes it a little difficult to tell which is which. But when you have that many players, it's a problem you're going to run into. So it was Jet Nelson. And then before that, Roberts who hauled it in. Now the Sentinels with a nice opportunity. As Jackson Reiser has it. Reiser gives it to Kinney. Kinney trying to get to the outside, and he's stopped. Loss of 1 on the play as the Cavemen are quick to the edge. We've seen this Sentinels offense having trouble just getting into a rhythm here early. The Cavemen know they want to run it. It's a crowded box. Those Cavemen are quickly flying in as well on those stops. So with 8:11 to go in this one, Sentinels facing 2nd and long again. They'll go to the ground again, and Kinney trips it up. That one didn't go the way they had intended it to. It looked like that was a read as well, where Kinney was going to have, Reiser was going to have the read to either throw it or give it on the run, and that time Reiser probably should have kept that one to the outside and looked downfield to see if he could get a completion. It's now 3rd and 13 after 2 straight plays of negative yardage. Reiser with time, but it quickly closes on him. Huge sack from the Caveman. Has come flying in on the blitz is Maximo Edwards, the junior linebacker, absolutely levels Reiser. Wow, this Caveman defense came to play. They have 2, they already have 1 turnover. They forced stops as well. So even though they tried the onside kick and it didn't work, they're going to get the ball back just as quickly. Reiser. Another punt. It's going to sail out of bounds. This one's directed away from the Sentinels by Connor Priest. So once again, it's American Fork's time to come out here. And now we'll see what's going to happen. But once again, Jet Nelson with that incredible reception. The last time we saw this offense did a great job getting behind. Nelson will line up at the bottom of your screen. Fantastic view out here at American Fork High School as well. If you're familiar with high school football in the state of Utah, you know that's no surprise. 7:04 to go. In just our first quarter, Lincoln Jackson has been locked in. We'll see what him and Watts want to go with here. And it was bobbled by Jackson. Jackson just tried to get it up quick for the pitch. Sounds like the Sentinels think they got it, and they do! So chaos there as Reiser bobbled the snap, and the Sentinels capitalize on it with a huge turnover. It makes it hard when you're trying to get that motion across. The timing is so critical, and that was just not there. So a big turnover for this Sentinels offense, and going to have an opportunity to get back into this one as they have some life. They'll pick it up on the 31 with 6:59 to go in the first. See the huge left tackle, Junior Sia, one of the premier offensive linemen in the state of Utah. Lined up on the left side. We'll see if he in the ground game can get it going with Kinney joining Reiser in the backfield still. Reiser with some time. Blitz comes in late. He's leveled as he throws it and just misses his intended target. A little too much to the outside that time. As it falls incomplete. American Fork just trying to figure out what works. That's the second time in a row, basically, for this American Fork defense that they've gotten pressure with that linebacker blitz. The previous time, of course, it was a sack. That time came up just short. But still got the hit that affected the throw, no doubt. Reiser, still good placement on it, though. As I mentioned, an elite baseball player, and he's someone who missed a lot of time working with this team early on, as they'll give it to Kinney trying to follow his blockers ahead, but there's just not a lot of push there. And it's what allows the Cavemen to limit the run to a gain of 2. This is a Mountain Ridge team that does have Brody Laga, one of the better legs in the state of Utah. So you know he'll be able to hit from far out if he's called upon. Reiser From the 29, it's 3rd down and 8 to go. He's got some time, waiting, and just loses the ball. I guess he was hit late. It didn't. I thought he just lost that one as he went to get rid of it. So mistake there from Reiser as he just couldn't complete the throw, and it just popped out of his hands, it appeared. Look, maybe if there's a better view, maybe the Cavemen did get a hand on it. All the credit in the world to them. Brady Locke is going to come on to attempt this kick. We know it's one he can hit. He's hit from over 40 yards out all season long to put the Sentinels on the board. It's up. It's no good. So even though the Cavemen turned it over, they were able to hold strong and not surrender any points once again. This American Fork defenses came to play. The last time they were on the field, they took on the Skyridge Falcons. They lost that one 37-0, and you can tell they were hungry to get back out there and get after it, as they have just been incredible today. Never like giving up 37, especially to a region rival. We know how loaded Region 4 is. These Sentinels were in the Region 3 race for much of the year. Kind of fell out of it a little bit later on, but Region 3 was extremely strong this year, and this is a Sentinels team that does have wins over some strong Region 4 opponents. Mentioned one of those in West Jordan. Lincoln Jackson going to come back out and pick this drive up from the 20. Gives it to Watts. Actually, he'll fake it, keep it to the outside. Lincoln Jackson showing off the legs. Lincoln flying for a first down. Nice read that time by Jackson. Had me fooled on the give as he had kept it instead of giving it to Watts. Jackson now flanked in the backfield by Lucas Segura. Sentinels defense just trying to figure things out. Taylor Highham and the rest of this unit. Highham, one of the premier pass rushers on this team. Jackson going to drop back. Got a clean pocket. Look to the outside. It's hauled in by Roberts. Roberts has another first down. His first catch since his touchdown we saw earlier. Gain of about 10-11 on that one as we'll move it now to the 45. So Lincoln Jackson has this offense moving like clockwork. It's been smooth early as the Sentinels look to make a stop. They got the turnover their last one, have given up 2 straight first downs. They'll go back to the pitch here. They'll flip it in front to Michaelis. And Michaelis is swung down, making the stop for Mountain Ridge was Colby Cassidy. It's been Jet Nelson, Trey Roberts involved in the outside that time. Got it involved to Jace Hull. On the motion across, the quick sweep. Lincoln alone in the backfield, waiting, looking, pressure in his face, and it's nearly hauled in. It was almost a miraculous reception by Hull. So with 4:36 to go in this one, it'll be 3rd and 10. It was too quick and big gains for this Caveman's offense. 2 that have yielded nothing on the 2 straight incompletions. We'll see this one. Jackson had to get rid of it quickly on the pressure. We'll see if it comes again. It's picked up well. Neal off it to the outside, and strong coverage. Able to break that pass up on the outside was Peyton Freeman. Freeman blocked a field goal in last week's win against Westlake. That was critical in that 28-25 win, and Freeman makes another play there, and he'll go back as well to possibly return this punt. Always got to be aware of a fake whenever Trey Roberts is back to punt it away. But once again, the Sentinels team, they've been gashed a little bit early, but last two drives, they had the turnover fortunately fall their way, and then this time able to, after giving up some of those first downs, get a quick stop after those 2 gains. This one takes a nice bounce. And it's going to roll all the way inside the 20, so we'll officially settle it at the 18. But Mountain Ridge needs to settle in, needs to figure out what they want to do here, and this is a Sentinels team that's been super successful running the ball. Well, Hunter Clegg and this defense is having none of it here early. So what do you do to counter that? That's the question. You see them trying to do some read option stuff, trying to get some play action going as well. You see on that previous one, they had the play action pass. They were hoping that Reiser would make the read where he was either going to give it on the run or throw it. That time he decided to give it to Kinney, much to the frustration of some of the coaches. Early miscommunications here for the Sentinels. They're trying to get back on track. Get a bunch up top. They'll give it to Kinney. Kinney trying to follow his blockers, and Kinney going to get shoved out for another loss of 1. Just the job the Cavemen have done setting the edge has been outstanding here early. One thing you can see as well is the Cavemen offense going back to work quickly. You see all the offensive line standing in front of the monitor, so one of the great additions. And inversely, Mountain Ridge's defense, they're looking at the film as well, trying to get better and see what they can improve on with under 3:50 to go. So make this 2nd and 11 to go. First down they had earlier, they haven't had a first down yet, but they did have a nice gain to the outside on a pass. See if they can try to get back to it here. Reiser going to keep it to the outside, trying to run, then just going to opt to throw it. But this, once again, the Cavemen just there right away. Flying in to make the stop that time for American Fork is Hunter Clegg. See the speed of Clegg, the future Stanford Cardinal, come flying in to make the play. See Clegg now lines up at the top of your screen. It's going to be 3rd and 10 after they were like a yard back on that short pass. Reiser rolling out to the right. No one in front of him except for Clegg closing quickly. Reiser uncorks it, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by the American Fork Cavemen. It's picked off by Davis Andrews. The 6'3" junior able to come away with the turnover. Just nothing going right for the Sentinels here early. Also great pressure put on by Hunter Clegg that time. That forced Reiser to make the throw on the move under duress. Now with 2:50 to go, we'll see that Cavemen offense come right back out, and it'll still be Lincoln Jackson as well. So seems like Coach Beam and his staff have just decided to go with whatever's works well for them. Offensive coordinator Micah Hunsaker decided to roll with Lincoln for this one. Fake it to Watts. It's deflected up top. It hangs in the air forever, but no one able to intercept it for the Sentinels. A big play. That time by this Mountain Ridge defense. Titus Messiah in on that defensive line. One of the challenging players. This American Fork offensive line is going to be asked to move. Jackson on the drop, pressure in his face. They'll set it up to Roberts on the screen on the outside. Roberts charging ahead. Roberts crosses the 30, holds onto the ball as he's dragged down, gets a few more on top of it. Huge gain for Roberts on fantastic blocking by American Fork. This coaching staff is saying go, go, go. They're going to try to go with the up-tempo and catch the Sentinels defense slipping. Lincoln Jackson drops back again. Jackson waiting, and he'll get dropped. Pressure applied. That's Taylor Higham in on the sack. We mentioned Higham. Strong pass rusher, over 10 sacks on the season for Higham. Comes around that right side of the offensive line and able to bring in the pressure. Around the left side of the offensive line. Right side for him. .203 to go. It's been a long first quarter here, but it's been an exciting one. Turnovers, touchdowns, we've got it all here at American Fork. They'll go to the ground this time. Charging ahead is Watts. Watts drags a couple Sentinels with him for a gain of 5 on the inside handoff. So 1:40 to go in this one. It'll make it 3rd and 5. See, the Cavemen opted to slow down. They tried to go with the up-tempo, and then Higham ended up biting them. Jackson with time, lofts it out, and it's hauled in. Strong catch by Hull for a touchdown. Chase Hull able to hold on to it despite the contact and come down with the catch. So just like that, it's going to be 20, or it could even be 21-0 in this one. Wow. What a start here for the American Fork Cavemen. It's the third touchdown pass of the quarter for Lincoln Jackson. We didn't even know it was going to be starting in this one, I might add as well. Jackson and this offense have been incredible. The PAT is through, so with 1:19 to go in the first, it is 21-0 as the Cavemen roll in here early.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front. SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
Back here inside American Fork High School, and what a start it's been for Lincoln Jackson in this offense. They've been absolutely electric as Jace Hull hauled in that previous touchdown on the quick slant route. The coverage was there, but Hull was stronger for it. See if the Sentinels can get anything going with 1:20 remaining in our first quarter. So I'll take a bounce just inside the end zone for another touchback. So Samisi Kinney in this offense have yet to get anything really working their way, and we'll see if that can turn around. But Hunter Clegg and this defense have absolutely come to play early, and it's been impressive to watch so far. Excited to be joined now as well by Brian Bound in the booth. And Brian, it's been a fantastic start for this American Fork offense. Lincoln Jackson has been getting it done, and Mountain Ridge hasn't really been able to establish the run yet, but we'll see if that can change. It's just a challenging task going against an elite defensive line like the Cavemen possess.
Yeah, so much can happen in one quarter, JT. Amazing what happens if you actually get to the game on time. Shout out to that Utah County traffic.
Yes, I hit it as well. It was brutal.
But, this was a game that I think you and I both coming into thought was going to be a much closer affair early on. And you can see what the problem is once you can't get that run game established, especially with an offense like Mountain Ridge, where it's so prevalent, so important to what they do. Early problems.
Yes. Right? That's what we'll see if they can sort out, as it's still a lot of time left, but never easy when you're in a 21-0 hole. Sentinels offense trying to get back on track. Second down. Reiser going to keep it to the outside, but it's well contained once again.
Yeah, and even though you're running to the same side as Hunter Clegg, it's the rest of that American Fork defense really filling in the gaps as Clegg shoots inside, trying to disrupt the early handoff, right? And when you have a player of his caliber, that's what you want to use him as, is a weapon out there. But the other part about it is this American Fork defense has guys across the board who can make plays.
One matchup I'm excited to watch all game long, Junior Sia versus Hunter Clegg. We're getting it right here on 3rd and 9. Reiser going to step up, try to run for it. Instead, he'll just off the slide. Wasn't really anywhere for him to go after 2 linebackers converged on him, and he'll be stopped for the short gain on the run.
Yeah, the smart play to slide on that one, but it's an awareness thing right there, JT, right? 3rd down, that's when you kind of want to take a gamble, run it. We see so much protection of the quarterback nowadays, and it's so reinforced on every broadcast and everything like that. Awareness is always the most critical part about that. So while you like the fact that quarterback's being smart about his play, protecting himself, try and fight a little bit more for that first down there. Don't maybe break a tackle. He's a great athlete.
Not nearly blocked that time, but instead it'll take a bounce just past the 40 as it takes a little bit of a roll. And it'll roll perfectly out of bounds at the 35. And yeah, Lincoln Jackson and this offense have been absolutely electric. 3 touchdown passes already, as that'll actually end our first quarter. So we're going to see more Jackson in a moment when we return on KSL Sports Rewind.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Stonehaven Dental. Schedule online at stonehavendental.com.
Back here inside American Fork High School for the start of our second quarter. Lincoln Jackson back to work with this offense. He'll give it to Watts. Watts breaks one tackle, charging ahead. And a nice first down run by Watts.
Yeah, just an early inside zone handoff there. And that's a problem if you're this Mountain Ridge defense. You cannot allow 10 yards on a simple zone read handoff, right? That's a great job by this American Fork offensive line. It's a front that's had to work really, really hard to meet the expectations of their coach, Rafe Mon. But they've done that, and you're seeing the effects of it right now.
Jackson from the 45 with time. Going to air it out to Hull. Hull dragged down quickly. There into stroke coverage. Making the stop was Anthony Little.
And seeing the personnel change there from American Fork, bringing a fresh set of legs on the field. Still going with the no huddle. Not as much NASCAR tempo as we've seen in the past. Kind of more of a muddle. Just trying to keep the defense on their toes.
When you talk about edge defenders in this game, Hunter Clegg's the one that's going to grab your attention first, but I'm also have my eye in a guy in Taylor Highham who's been incredibly productive this season.
Yeah, Taylor and Chase, both brothers, I believe, both very productive players for Mountain Ridge. I'm just expecting them to get there at some point in time as we see kind of a bobble of the handoff, it looks like there, JT.
Yeah, it's not the first time they had the fumble in the first quarter on the attempted little pass, just little throw one right out in front, little toss, I should say. That one failed early on, and that one we see on the handoff, it goes negative, and it's going to make it 3rd and 10 as they are able to at least get back to the line. Highham already with 1 sack on the day. We'll see if he can get home here on an opportunity on 3rd and long, and 21-0 is a lot, but 28-0 is a lot worse. We'll see if Jackson and this offense can move the chains. As they'll get it to the outside, it's hauled in. Nice reception. This time making the grab for American Fork was Jet Nelson.
Yeah, Jet Nelson, a guy that when I got to watch this American Fork team against Weber early on in the season stood out to me. Terrific athlete, great size for the position. Someone that you expect to see have a lot of success as this American Fork team moves forward in the playoff. But the bigger thing is Lincoln Jackson has all day to throw back there.
Yep.
And when he does, he's a very accurate quarterback.
See that defensive line of the Sentinels shifting around. Jackson gives it to Watts. Or Segura charging ahead. And Segura on another nice game.
Yeah, Segura, normally a change of pace back. We see him a lot in the passing game as well. But you're seeing on that play a great job of sealing the backside by this American Fork offensive line. They're really cutting off any kind of pursuit from that Mountain Ridge defensive line, allowing Segura to get to the outside and get a huge chunk on first down.
This is an American Fork team you've seen earlier this year against Weber. How do you feel like they've kind of evolved and changed?
Well, it's interesting. They looked great against Weber, right? But the 2-quarterback system I felt was a little rough for them at times. As we see, Lincoln Jackson barely overthrows his receiver. I believe that's
mad himself for missing Roberts. Yep.
Yeah, Roberts, who's another phenomenal athlete. Bottom line, there's a ton of weapons on this offense, and when they're clicking, they can be dominant. But I think that's been the hardest part is they've been trying to find that rhythm. We saw them against Bingham. Didn't ever feel like they ever really caught a rhythm in that game. And really in the high school level, if you can sustain a positive drive, that's a huge thing for an offense. So that's what I'm looking for from them today.
Yeah, I saw them with Champion Edwards play Pleasant Grove earlier. They'll look to go back to Roberts. It's once again a high throw, but Roberts able to haul that one in, and Roberts able to get the first down. But we are going to see our first flag of the game. It's been a very clean game, which I know for you and I after last week's game is a very nice change of pace.
JT, I've seen more flags than I care to admit in the course of this season, but that's okay. You know, we want to make sure that these kids are learning the game and that they're getting the calls made in order to teach them that, right? And this is one of those critical plays. Whether I agree with the illegal man downfield rule or not, JT, it is a rule, and we must obey. And it looks like that one's going to go against American Fork on that play. Either that or was it a holding? Regardless, it looks like it's about a 10-yard penalty there. So
yeah, difficult one for this offense. That, I mean, if Jackson hits Roberts in stride, it's already probably 6 points. This time he'll go deep again. Opportunity to win it up top, and fantastic coverage on the outside. That time able to break it up was Peyton Freeman.
Yeah, Freeman does a nice job tracking the ball. You see, it looks like, I think it's Nelson that comes over the top to kind of tap that away. Not able to come away with the interception, but that ball just a little bit underthrown there by Lincoln Jackson. You see the previous play, a little overthrows his receiver. Just takes a little bit off of it this time. So you can see that he's still looking to find that accuracy as we move here into the second quarter.
They don't feel a need to punt beyond midfield, so we'll see the offense remain. Trey Roberts at the bottom of your screen. Jackson looking, waiting, sets up the screen. Watts has got it. Watts ahead. Watts draped down early. He's not going to get there. That was a fantastic tackle made by Colby Cassidy.
Yeah, great job by Colby not being fooled by the screen. You see a couple of the Mountain Ridge defenders trying to chase after the quarterback, not recognizing it immediately. I love the play call from American Fork, trying to catch Mountain Ridge in high pursuit, but just a great job by Colby, reading his keys, making the tackle, and dragging the offensive player down short of the sticks, and that's a big turnover on downs for Mountain Ridge. They have to capitalize here, though, JT.
2 of the last 3 plays, they targeted Trey Roberts. That's where they initially looked with Jackson as well, so a very well set up play. Kinney trying to find anywhere to go, but there ain't no hole there.
And this is a very basic run offense for Mountain Ridge. As you see number 4 there for American Fork coming downhill, trying to make the tackle.
Yeah,
on
Maximos
the outside.
Edwards has been fantastic early, already in on a couple stops.
Does a great job, and you know, that safety group back there, and Maximos is kind of like a slot back corner type position, you know, maybe a nickel if you watch a lot of college and NFL. But he and Davis Andrews are a phenomenal pair out there.
Andrews already with an interception. Reiser with time, gonna roll to the left. He's gonna try to tuck in and run. Reiser gets the first man, runs down the sideline. The biggest offensive gain on the day. That's the first down of the game for the Sentinels.
Well, I talked about it on the previous possession, right? I wanted to see Reiser use that athleticism. There you see it in full force, JT. And you mentioned earlier the battle between Junior Saya and Hunter Clegg. We saw the 2 of them in the backfield, and it looked like Saya had gotten the better of Clegg on that one. That allowed him to allow the quarterback to get downfield and convert on a big play.
Reiser with Kinney in the backfield, but he'll motion Kinney out. Reiser looks, going to set up the quarterback run. Reiser to the outside, charges ahead. Another gain for Reiser.
And this is really what Mountain Ridge needs to do, is they need to get Reiser involved in the running game. Get those American Fork defenders rethinking what's happening in front of them.
So at 7:37 to go, ball on the 43. It's 2nd and 4 after another strong game. Kinney back in the backfield. Reiser, we know what a strong baseball player he is, has some weapons on the outside. We'll see if we can get him involved in this one. But first, they'll look to the ground as they give it to Kinney. And in those obvious running situations, the Cavemen have been outstanding.
Yeah, just a great job by that Caveman front, and just met by multiple defenders.
Yeah,
there.
Dylan Skoy was in on the stop, and man, he's low inside.
Yeah, along with one of my favorites for this American Fork defense, number 99, Milwaukee Fulilangi, who does a great job. He's a bit of an undersized nose tackle, which is absurd to say when he's 6 foot 240, JT, but does a great job, very stout in the run support, able to help allow his mate to make the tackle there.
Make it 3rd and 4 after no gain on the run. You see the Cavemen on the line. They're all going to come. Reiser tries to run it. Reiser not going to be able to get there.
And stop short, just a basic QB lead, and Mountain Ridge really trusting the feet of Reiser. He's a unique athlete, JT. Pitcher in baseball, playing football now for his senior year. You see Mountain Ridge line up and go for it. They were clearly thinking 4-down territory with that call.
Quick tempo with it. We'll see if they can get it here. Empty backfield. 6:15 to go. Play clock dips under 10. Reiser looks to be changing things up. Now with 5 seconds. He'll drop back, looks right all the way, and he is engulfed! Getting home for the Cavemen is your guy.
That is, it's Waki Fulilangi there. And like I said, JT, he's a bit of an undersized guy, but you can see why they have him out there. He's a bursty guy. He's got a lot of twitch for a big fella. Does a great job basically coming free, as there must have been a miscommunication up front. Able to bring down Reiser, and that's a very important stop for this American Fork defense.
Fuilongi with the ferocious sack, and once again, just this caveman defense, time and time again. They've given up 1 first down now. They forced a turnover in this one as well. That time forced a turnover on downs. You could also throw that in there, and that brings Lincoln Jackson's offense back out. Jackson gives it to Watts. Watts cuts it to the outside. Watts crosses the 40. Watts powering ahead.
Yeah, Watt's a very nifty runner, especially when he gets that much open space. Able to convert the first down on that one, but a great job again by this American Fork offensive line, sealing off any kind of pursuit to the outside, JT.
We have an injury on the field at the moment, and, you know, Brian, with a game like this, it's so hard when you get punched in the mouth early and when you also beat yourself early. And that's what we saw happen with the Sentinels. Second play of the game, on the pitch to the outside. You turn it over inside your own 10. And then from there, you go to Roberts quickly and score. And just ever since then, haven't been the same. But even that, it feels like if there hadn't been a fumble, it feels like it still would have ended up as a punt because nothing is going right now as American Fork is dominating the line of scrimmage. They're doing a great job in coverage. They're able to get to the quarterback. They've really doing it all.
They are, and I think this is part of what we've seen from this Mountain Ridge football team, right, JT? At times they've played up to their competition and been incredible. In fact, one of those teams that at times I thought would be, you know, in the conversation at the very least, to make it to the semifinals. Not so much maybe a state champion front runner. But
start out undefeated.
Yeah, the inconsistency from that squad, I think, kind of showing itself right now, right? Like, if you're not staying with your keys and staying with your plays every single time, these things can get away from you quickly when you play talented teams like American Fork.
1st and 10, give it to Hull. Hull breaking free, Hull. And a nice gain on the motion.
Yeah, nice job by Hull there on the fly sweep. Just a simple play to try and get an athlete out in space. You can see what he's able to do when they get that edge. But nice job there, it looked like by number 32, Blake Jensen, to make the stop.
Second quarter has gone by much quicker. Just over 5 minutes to play in this one. Cavemen trying to jump out to a 28-0 lead.
Sorry, let me correct that. Dominic Meal on the stop.
Bring Hull back across. Edwards. It's Jackson. Gets it to Hull. On the outside. Quick little route. Hauls it in.
It looked like Hull had the first down, but I think the spot has him just shy of it. So it'll be...
That was close.
Very, very close. And they may... I wonder if they're going to call for a measurement. It looks like it's not. So 3rd and 1 here, JT. But, you know, the way that this American Fork offense has been playing, I think the playbook is wide open for them on this play. It didn't have to be an inside play or a quarterback sneak or anything like that. They've done such a good job establishing the line of scrimmage so far today.
3rd and inches for American Fork. They'll give it to Watts. Watts straight ahead. He's got it.
Yeah, piled up there, but too little too late from that Mountain Ridge defense. And Watts, you talk about him being nifty when he gets outside the tackles. He's also a very strong runner. He does a good job getting yards after contact, breaking tackles.
So Lincoln Jackson already with 3 touchdown passes in this one. Distributed the wealth around. See Roberts in the bunch set to the bottom of your screen. Andrus on the line to the right. Go to Segura. Actually, Lincoln Jackson going to keep it. Jackson just going to go down.
Yeah, pretty good job of that Mountain Ridge defense to read the keys. Not fooled by the power sweep action to the boundary side of the field. Jackson, a very talented athlete in his own right, able to pick up a few yards right in my favorite spot, JT. 2nd and Brown Bear, 2nd and average.
We'll say it's still 2nd and 7, so I mean 7's a little far for Brown Bear average.
You know, we're stretching things out a little bit. We're allowing some leeway today. Just one of those days.
Look to the outside. Roberts hauls it on the slant. Roberts fumbles it as well, and the official on the bottom is going to come down and call it incomplete. That was close, Brian.
It was, and from our vantage point, hard to see if he ever really had secured the football, JT. But the way that it flew out of his hands there at the last moment, have to kind of agree with the official on that one. That's a huge break for this American Fork offense, and unfortunately, it leads to a Mountain Ridge defender being down.
Speaking of breaks, we'll take one as well on KSL Sports Rewind.
They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the University of You.
The American Fork Cavemen back on the field because it's 3rd and 6. Jackson waiting to the outside has Andrus. Andrus is in. Andrus for 6. The American Fork tight end with the touchdown.
We saw Jackson go long on a previous throw, go short on a previous throw. That time he was right on the money. Lots of Lincolns in his pocket going out and distributed to Andrus. It's a great pitch and catch by that tandem. And Andrus just does a terrific job of hauling in the pass, walks into the end zone, and it is all American Fork Cavemen right now.
Lakin Jackson with the Wendy's 4 for 4 here in the first half. 4 touchdowns for him, 28 points for American Fork. That one courtesy of their sensational tight end, Josh Andrus.
Land Power Equipment provides exceptional service and high-quality brands you know and trust in lawn, landscaping, and snow removal products. Our experienced staff of technicians repair all types of snow plows, snow blowers, lawn mowers, small engines, and is trained to answer questions about lawn, garden, snow removal, and landscaping products. Mountain Land Power Equipment, now with 2 locations to serve you in Salt Lake City and Springville.
It has been all American Fork out here at American Fork High School, and it has been all Lincoln Jackson. We thought it would be Champion Edwards, but Lincoln Jackson operating this offense like a champion here early. 4 touchdowns to 4 different pass catchers. That time it was Josh Andrus, and Andrus doing such a great job blocking, and that time gets involved on the action. This is going to be the first returnable opportunity for the Sentinels. So they'll try to bounce it to the outside, but as has been the theme for most of the day, there's just no one to go as Chase Lutuai just kind of goes side to side trying to find anything.
Yeah, and it's a credit to this American Fork Caveman coverage team, as there are no gaps, no seams. They're not allowing Letuai, do anything in the term game there. And Chase, a lot of work, not a lot of return.
This is a Mountain Ridge team, though, I will say. This program in general, Coach Mike Mayfew's squad, they've been through adversity. You look at it with the first program they started, their first ever game, lost that one heavily, and then over the years they've slowly been able to take those tough losses and build this program into a real Region 3 threat that's going to have a chance still going forward to become something. And even though you're down 28-0, still a lot of time. Riser, all day to throw, and it's just batted away. Fantastic coverage on the outside by Aiden Cage.
Yeah, great job by Cage there, and you could actually hear the thump here at the stadium as he batted that one away. Cage gets up very confident in the action. You know, it's a nice thought by Reeser to try and find his receiver on the comeback route, but Cage ready for that one. What you want to look at now, JT, if you're an offensive coordinator, he's biting hard on that comeback. See if you can get something over the top on him later on.
Riser looking all the way to the left, then to the right, rolling out. Clegg bearing down on him. Riser waiting, just going to have to throw it away.
You can see how impressive an athlete Hunter Clegg is there. Riser is a tremendous runner as a quarterback, very fast. Clegg step for step for him, even closing on him as he runs to the outside. For a man his size, that's super impressive. It's why he's such a highly sought-after athlete, why he's so highly rated with all the recruiting services.
Yeah, the future Stanford Cardinal, as you mentioned. And I thought Junior did a really good job against him. That time it was just Riser trying to get out of the pocket and make a play.
Yeah, and you know, that's something that you're coached to do as a quarterback is roll out. I think Riser actually had a pretty clean pocket still if he would have stayed back in there.
He'll have another one here, but unfortunately it's going to fall short of any big gain as the Cavemen converge after the reception by Peyton Jones.
Yeah, and you see, again, Aiden Cage coming up to make the big hit there at the very end. American Fork takes a timeout here, looking to conserve a little bit of clock, trying to get one more score possibly before the half. if you're Mountain Ridge, not exactly the kind of effort you wanted on that drive, right, JT? Backs up against the wall. You want to see some, I don't want to say enthusiasm, but some intensity with your offense. You want to see some urgency from that group. Didn't really see a ton of it there. And listen, this is a tough task against this American Fork defense. They're very talented. But again, just something that we're looking at right now as I'm watching this and seeing where is the urgency.
Yep. It's been a challenge so far for this team, and got to be impressed with the job the Cavemen have done overall of just containing everything that's been thrown at them. And we're going to see another Sentinels punt here. And you have to punt your pin this deep in the end zone. You know, the vibes are good as well for American Fork. They're out there dancing, singing along as well. And it's just been that kind of quarter and half for them overall. Sentinels boom it away. It's a nice punt, but it's pulled in. Nifty move to get a little back from it as well. That time able to spin out of a couple of those tackles was Justin Bogoyes.
Yeah, great job by him. Not only fielding a line drive of a kick, it was one that I thought was going to take a bounce and probably go in favor of Mountain Ridge. D8 hauls in the kick, breaks a few tackles, takes a few more licks, keeps on running, and does a good job of picking up that extra effort. And right now, it's those kinds of plays, it's that kind of extra effort that continues to widen the gap here as American Fork faces off against Mountain Ridge.
You know, I think the timeout took me a little bit off guard, but it makes a lot of sense. Trying to go up by 30 is always a lot. Jackson nearly threaded that needle to Andrus. Actually looked like it deflected off the hands of Andrus, but might have touched someone else's hands as well. But either way, a nice delivery from Jackson.
Yeah, a lot of traffic there, tight window, so you like the accuracy from Jackson, but really right now, not the kind of throw he has to make, JT. You know, especially where Mountain Ridge is going to be back in coverage, trying to make him force the action.
Jackson waiting, gets it to the outside as it's brought in by Jet Nelson, who already has a touchdown on this one.
Yeah, and then we talk about Chase Roberts so much. Trey Roberts. Chase Roberts, a former American Fork Caveman, but Jet Nelson is a guy that I watch, and I think there's a lot of potential with that young. Great frame, runs really, technically sound routes, great hands, and you're seeing him come out today.
To go to the ground this time, it's Segura. Segura with the cut, draped down for a gain of 3.
Plenty of time on the clock here for American Fork. You can still run the football, and they're able to convert, a solid game there, as there is about 2 minutes left in this first half.
Yeah, luxury you get with the timeout is you do have those opportunities to go to the ground game. Lincoln Jackson getting everyone lined up again quickly. Can he get 5 touchdowns in this first half as they'll haul this one in to the outside? It's another first down for the Cavemen. On the grab to the outside there was Jacob Dean.
Yeah, Dean, not as frequently used tight end. When you have a guy the size of Andrus who can play so many positions, right? We see him lined up in the slot right now. He's able to go inline at times. And Dean's kind of that change of pace guy that maybe, like H-style as well. We see him in protection there.
Jackson ripping it up top. Andrus hauls it in. The extension from Josh Andrus. What a catch.
Here I am blubbering about Anderson's versatility, and all he does is go over the middle and make a great grab, hauls the ball in, able to pick up a few extra yards. Minute 40 left. American Fork is in great territory right now to put points on the board, JT.
Lincoln Jackson already has the 4 for 4, wants the $5 footlong. We'll see if he can get it here. Instead, they'll go to the ground. It's Watts. Watts shakes one tackle. Watts ahead. Watts gets in the end zone. Touchdown, American Fork. Their 5th of the first half.
We've seen it all game long. American Fork does the phenomenal job of sealing off the edge there, but it's Watts who makes the play as he powers into the end zone with some extra wattage and puts the Cavemen ahead 34-0 pending the PAT. Just another phenomenal effort by Watts.
I like that.
He's electric, JT.
He is, and I like the extra Watts you put on that call as well, just for your guy. That PAT is through 35-0, still a minute 22 to go. Can the Sentinels come back? Come back to find out.
day they rest.
Lincoln Jackson, the American Fork offense, have been just incredible. I mean, there's no other way to really say it. See the wind play effect on that kick as it's going to be returnable. You see the big man charging forward, able to get the best return of the day for this Sentinels team on it, as he's able to get out to just past the 30 that time, being Benjamin Woodruff.
Yeah, and just heading back to that play, Dax Watts, and if you're in the neighborhood and you felt a power outage, it was because Dax was powering up to get that ball into the end zone right there, JT. And really what it's done is it's put this Mountain Ridge football team into a massive hole. We have a minute 17 left here. And look, you want to put the ball in the hands of your quarterback, Reeser, and see if he can try and get something done. But at the same time, you're in dangerous territory if you're Mountain Ridge. You literally cannot go down 42-0 at halftime and try and mount a comeback.
Reiser with time, waiting, pumps once. Reiser going to step up, and eventually Hunter Clegg's going to be there to drop him. The offensive line of the Sentinels able to push the pocket a little bit. Going to be a gain of 6 on that one, so a nice decision after the coverage was outstanding by the Cavemen downfield. But, Brian, I wanted to go back to that touchdown from Watts as well. What did you see from Watts there in the vision you displayed?
Well, it's a tough one to break down on the fly, JT, as we see there's less than a minute left with the game, you know, and seeing Reeser drop back here, again, running the ball and trying to get some yardage, but the biggest problem is they're using clock as I wind my way through. The biggest thing is that Watts is phenomenal at following his blockers. You see what American Fork's able to do as they pull those linemen out in space. They're very well coached. It's a very high-functioning group in terms of what they can do with the blocking scheme. Watts does a phenomenal job of positioning himself behind the blockers and then finding the creases where he only has to make one move or make one defender miss to get in the end zone.
Play clock reset for Reiser. Pressure comes through. Reiser able to evade it. Reiser charging ahead. Reiser going to tuck it and run, and Reiser steps out of bounds. Took a hit as well. Looks like he was still inbounds before he took the contact, and gets up gingerly after that one.
Yeah, that's a tough hit for us to make a judgment on because the sideline being where it is, we don't have a clear view of where the markers are and everything like that. But, you know, not a lot of activity from either side of the football there, so we're going to go ahead and let it roll. Clock will stop, and there's a first down. That's a good sign for Mountain Ridge. We'll see what Reiser can do now.
Sentinels still got a long way to go. They're on their own 46 still. Reiser going to have to take a shot. Waiting, still trying to find anyone open. Has a man pop open, and it's deflected off his hands. It's intercepted. The Sentinels turn it over as the Cavemen take it away. The interception for Zane Edwards.
Reiser may need to get a room at the Heartbreak Hotel after that one, JT. He hangs in the pocket for so long, waiting for his receiver to come open. Delivers a good throw just off the fingertips of his wide receiver. And defensive coordinators preach anytime that ball gets tipped, it's free money. And unfortunately, American Fork able to recover. Tough break for this Mountain Ridge Sentinel offense, and their defense is going to have to at least try and limit any kind of damage here with 26.2 seconds left.
Jackson to the left. Finds his man for the first down. Dragged down inbounds as well. Originally they signaled to roll the clock, but he was able to fight and get the first down, that being Jet Nelson.
Yeah, again, you know, breakout game for Jet Nelson, but you're seeing the Sentinel defenders not letting him out of bounds, forcing that clock to move as much as possible. American Fork burns a timeout there. I do believe that is... looks like we don't have a marker for the timeouts up on the scoreboard.
I know.
I can't imagine that a scoreboard from 1989 wouldn't have timeouts on it, JT. Not that I'm knocking the Cavemen.
It is their.
It's a shout out to our state legislator. Let's get these guys some decent scoreboards already. Some video boards for me? Come on now.
I believe it's the second timeout used by the Cavemen in this one. If we're going back on it, they used the first one to stop the clock and make sure they had a little bit more time on that kick. And before that, that was the second one right there. I mean, I don't know, Brian. Do you remember any other one used in the first quarter?
Seems to have slipped my mind what might have happened in the first quarter there, JT. But the fact remains that with 18.9 seconds, Mountain Ridge has to keep American Fork out of the end zone. You cannot allow this team to go up 42-0 and invoke the mercy rule. It just kills any chance of mounting a comeback.
Lincoln all day to throw, wants it deep, looking for Andrus on the 50-50 ball. Andrus tried to come back to it. There's a lot of contact there. You see, the Cavemen want pass interference. They're not going to get it.
They aren't, and the problem with that one is it's Andrus that's initiating the contact early on as he's fighting with the defender, and the defender's in good position. Again, defenders don't have to look around for the football when they're in trail coverage like that, and so for Andrus to fight through the defender's fighting back, I actually, for once, like the no call from the officials. Although, Caveman fans, I understand if you don't like it.
Can't be too many things the Cavemen can't be loving about this first half when you're up 35-0. 11 and a half seconds to go. Jackson airs it out. It's called in and able to get out of bounds as well that time was Jet Nelson.
And seeing Nelson with the heady play, too, trying to reach the ball out to get the first down. With 6.7 seconds, does stop the clock, but he's also able to get out of bounds. Probably time to run at least one play, and
that's what I was thinking.
Like American Fork's going to trot out the field goal team.
Better safe than sorry with Noah Anderson. Noah Anderson trying to make this a 38-0 game. That kick is up, and it's no good. Noah Anderson cannot get it through, so there's 1 second left. We expect that these Sentinels just come out and take a knee, but everything's pretty much going Americans' Fork way outside of an early turnover, but you can't even remember that when you're up 35-0. And that time the field goal just a little bit to the outside, but it was a long one.
Yeah, you know, a little bit of a swirling breeze there, so you expect that he's going to have to put a lot of leg in that one, but a good amount of pressure there from Mountain Ridge. And really at the high school level to get everything snap, hold, kick, everything in sync on that kind of a pressure play, always a difficult task. You kind of understand what you're trying to do when you're kicking a field goal at the high school level, JT. And really, you know, it's sixes either way for American Fork. You either try to throw the ball up and risk maybe Mountain Ridge getting a turnover and trying to run it back, whereas now they're just going to throw one up as a Hail Mary.
Riser lofting it out. Just misses there. Actually did have a man break open. Maybe one they'll want to tuck away into the second half. But that is going to do it for our first half. It's been Lincoln Jackson's show. Yes, Jackson Watts has 1 touchdown, but how about Lincoln early on? The Cavemen defense forced the quick turnover, and then after that it was Trey Roberts who scored. It was Jace Hall. It was also Jet Nelson. It was Josh Andrus. All of that leading to 35-0. Lincoln has been sensational. American Fork has been sensational. Brian, your thoughts?
Yeah, just a really explosive first half from this Caveman offense, and that's, I think, what they've been looking to do all year. The move to put Lincoln Jackson at quarterback, clearly paying off dividends in this first half. With a name like Lincoln, you have to believe that he's got something ready for the second half. If you're Mountain Ridge, this is one where you've got to get in the locker room, settle your guys down, and ask them what it is that they want to leave as their legacy. Do they want to go out getting blown out at American Fork, or do they want to come out and fight in that second half and try and get into this one? 35 points is a lot to ask against this American Fork Cavemen defense. They've been phenomenal all first half. But again, it is all about effort. It is all about the will. And that's what I'm looking for in the second half. Which one of these teams has the will to go out and succeed?
Coach Mayfu and his squad have a lot of adjustments to make. Coach Beam and Lincoln Jackson have to be fired up about how things have gone early. We'll be back with you in 14 minutes for the second half on KSL Sports Rewind. While we have a moment as well, want to tell you guys about all of the other streams we have going. KSL Sports Rewind has you covered across the state, so make sure you check in on those as well. And come back here in 14 minutes at American Fork High.
They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the University of You.
Back inside American Fork High School, the third quarter going to be up in a moment, and what a half it was for those Cavemen. JT Withershill and Brian Brown with you on the call. This was a matchup between two 7-win teams. Mountain Ridge 6-4, in the regular season, moved to 7-4 after their win against Westlake last week, and then American Fork, with their 7-3 record, earned them a bye. So now they come out, and you never know how a team's going to perform off a bye, right, Brian? But the Cavemen did pretty well.
Yeah, well, we saw last night two teams battling up in Pullman, and it was a shocker to see such a low-scoring affair. But again, this is a team in American Fork that's faced a lot of tough battles throughout the season. That really rigorous Region 4 came out of it with some wounds, with some scars, but able to withstand the overall purge, if you will. And you're seeing the discrepancy between that and Mountain Ridge, a team that struggled with multiple opponents all throughout the season.
Yeah, Sentinels start out 4-0, wins against teams like Wasatch, Olympus, but then had that loss to Westlake, and after that, obviously under the tough gauntlet that is Region 3, it's what led to those 4 losses, and man, do they have their work cut out for them to get back into this one. Lincoln Jackson coming back out. We expected to see Champion Edwards, but Lincoln was absolutely electric. They'll start on the ground here, charging ahead is Segura. Segura able to get about 2 on the carry before he stopped.
And the unique part about the high school game, JT, usually when you see teams at the college or the NFL level come out with a sizable lead like this, they're trying to put that final nail in the proverbial coffin, right? High school teams, these are young kids still. They're not used to how you close a deal, so to speak, and already we're seeing some better progress from Mountain Ridge. Definitely some adjustments in how they're aligning for the run game.
Jackson, looked like there was a miscommunication, but he'll just scramble, able to get a nice chunk of yardage. He was looking right all the way, but that time Roberts was just blocking on the outside.
Yeah, and plenty of defenders in his face there, as you can see. Again, Mountain Ridge trying to mount a pass rush. They know how critical it is to get a quick 3 and out here, or at least a quick turnover on downs from this American Fork offense.
3rd and 5 from the 25. See a lot of potential blitzers up front for the Sentinels. We'll see how much pressure they decide to bring.
It looks like man coverage up above and down below, too.
It's all going to come, but it's well picked up. Andrus, the strength, hauls it in for the first down.
Just an incredible mismatch for Anderson. You can see, you mentioned the strength, but it's also the size and the ability to go up and catch a ball. That's something that we not overrate, but underestimate of how hard that is to do. Andrus just a really talented player.
Only a junior as well. I think that's something you forget. You see, that's
Same with Jet
strength.
Nelson. There's a lot of talent still on this American Fork offense.
Lincoln Jackson as well. So this could be a team to watch in next year's playoff race. But hey, they're ready to make some noise in this one after making a statement here in that first half. They'll go to the ground again. Segura stopped after a gain of 4.
Yeah, listen, a much better job defending the run. And that's the kind of effort that you wanted to see there in the second quarter, where American Fork was just gashing. But if you can keep them in 2nd and long, 3rd and average, that's going to help out a ton if you're Mountain Ridge.
You know, one interesting thing, I spoke with Coach Mayfu earlier in the week, and the biggest thing he mentioned when trying to stop this American Fork offense was stopping the run, because I think he expected to see Champion Edwards. So then you throw in a more of a pass-happy quarterback in Lincoln, as another short run goes for about 2, or actually we'll call it 1. But Lincoln is just, I think, really changed things up, and it's led to a lot of confusion, Brian.
Well, much more proficient passer, and I think you've seen that with how effective Jet Nelson has been in the game all game long. I think he's well over 100 yards receiving, and I have at least 4 or 5 catches, if not more.
And we saw this team earlier in the season against Bingham. They suffered their first loss. We saw Champion Edwards in the second half. We saw Lincoln Jackson and Dylan Story early on. So we've gone through quite the QB carousel. It's an incredible throw by Lincoln on the move as he hits Jet before he steps. Excuse me, that's Jace Hall on the reception before Hall steps out of bounds.
Yeah, Hall, a little bit of a smaller receiver, a little more shifty, but also very explosive, has a lot of talent. He's a guy that I saw do a lot of work against Weaver early on in the season. And then to have that amazing change of pace is just such a luxury for this American Fork offense. And you can see it every time they need a conversion, they go out and get it.
Huge just shifts going on in that defensive line for the Sentinels as they get new personnel on. Now with the 49, Jackson airing it out deep. Has a man open. Can he fight back and get it? What an adjustment to the ball. That catch by Jet Nelson. Sensational.
just running out of ways to describe how impactful he's been all game. If it's not just that reaching out to get the first down or the securing the catch on the 10-yard comeback, it's making the highlight level reel grab out there to convert on a big throw. This puts American Fork deep into Mountain Ridge territory, and they're now threatening to score with intensity.
Yeah, 7:45 to go in this third quarter, and we could be in danger of a running clock. They'll get it to Nelson on the jet sweep, fittingly. Nelson dragged down for a gain of nothing. But Brian, just talking about it, we got a look at Lincoln Jackson earlier against Bingham. That was American Fork's first loss of the season, and Jackson just didn't have a very good game that day. But you see today, he's come out here in the playoffs and been an absolute command of this offense.
Yeah, well, it was a surprise to me because when I saw him against Weber, he looked like he was the more effective of the two quarterbacks between he and Champion Edwards.
Yep.
And you're seeing what development over the course of the season can do, and what Coach Beam has done with this program.
Nelson just overshot by Jackson on that delivery. Yeah, Jet almost had his second touchdown of the game. No Cavemen yet with multiple touchdowns outside of Jackson. The wealth has been spread. First it was Trey Roberts, then it was Jace Hull, then it was Jet Nelson, then Josh Andrus also hauled one in, and then Daxton Watts also rushed one, and it's just been that kind of day for American Fork where it's like Thanksgiving. Everybody eats. Jackson on the screen, well covered by the Sentinels.
Yeah, great job there by number 44 to get a mid on the ball for Mountain Ridge there, as you see.
Yeah, Benjamin Woodruff has been in a couple stops in this one.
He has, and undersized there as a defensive tackle at 6 foot 205. You can see the awareness, the quickness, and he's able to put some pressure on the quarterback as well. You mentioned Lincoln Jackson, and he's essentially an all-you-can-eat buffet right now, JT, with what he's handing out plate-wise to his wide receivers, to his running back. And credit to his offensive line. They've done a phenomenal job of allowing him to operate in the pocket.
6:10 to go, fourth down. The offense remains on the field. Lincoln airing it out. Roberts hauls it in. Another incredible reception from Trey Roberts for a huge gain and a first down as they're able to convert the fourth.
Listen, we talk about effort. We talk about will. The will is there from this Mountain Ridge defense. There's just so much talent on the part of American Fork. You've seen Jet Nelson all game long. Now it's back to Roberts. Now you've got this cadre of running backs there for American Fork. And it's just a constant churning of dudes.
Riser on the late give. Segura charging ahead. Segura meets one tackler, meets another, and it's a touchdown for the Cavemen. Rumbling and stumbling and punching it in is Segura.
And just a walk in the park for Segura and this American Fork offense. Wash, rinse, repeat, however you want to describe it. They were methodical the entire way down the field. The big explosive play to Nelson to get it deep into Mountain Ridge territory. And you see Segura with the exclamation point on that drive.
It's a straight-up party here at American Fork. The lights are going like a disco, and it is going down in this 42-0 game as Mountain Ridge is in command on KSL Sports Rewind.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
What a performance it's been by the American Fork Cavemen. It's 42-0. There have been 6 touchdowns now scored, and all 6 by a different American Fork player as well. Just a phenomenal showing here early. That one almost broke to the outside, but ended up being dragged down on the return there. And before he was stopped was Brandon Jones. And Brian, it's just one of those things for you. If you're the Sentinels at this point, it feels like you're playing for pride in this 42-0 game.
Yeah, we talked about what's your legacy as a football team? What's your legacy as seniors? How do you want to go out if this is indeed your final game? And so really what it is it's competing every play, giving it everything you have. All those cliches, the Rudy elements of football, right, JT? The immeasurables.
I like it, the Rudy elements. Reiser on the quarterback run, trying to get to the outside and drape down. Sensational stop.
Yeah, just a tough one there as you see Junior Sai out in front of Reiser. He's not able to get a hat on the defender. The defender slips offside, able to make the tackle. And it's just been that kind of game all game long for Mountain Ridge.
Lucas Segura's having a good time. He was in on that last touchdown. Also in on that stop right there. 4:30 now. Blitz comes from the outside. It's picked up, but Plackett quickly collapses. Reiser rolling, scanning, and just stepping out of bounds. Brian, one thing I had an opportunity to do this week was speak with Coach Mike Mayhew, your former teammate at Snow College as well. And just one of the things that has been so impressive to watch is the transformation of this Mountain Ridge program over the past 4 years.
Yeah, and I promised Coach Mayhew that I wouldn't share any embarrassing stories on here. Not that I would have any, because Mayhew runs his program exactly the way that he operated as a football player. No nonsense, all business. Very tough, very efficient, and that's why a program that is so young has reached such high heights so early on. And this is a team that's still trying to find their way, still trying to build culture. There's a lot of talent, but it's tough to put together a program in such a short amount of time.
3rd and 15, Reiser all day to throw. He's going to air it out, and it's caught. It's a first down for the Sentinels off the reception from Peyton Jones.
Yeah, great job by Jones to secure the catch and stay in bounds. The tight end, 6'4", 200, the senior. And those are the kind of efforts that we're talking about. Great job by the offensive line, protecting Reiser, allowing him to operate back in the pocket. And you can see when he has time, he has that electric arm. You know, a pitcher, high school pitcher, I believe he's going to play at the University of Utah on scholarship.
Yep.
Baseball, not football, but baseball.
Could play up football with a performance like this. A huge sack gets home for American Fork as it's Dylan Skoy once again with a sack.
Yeah, and surprised that it's taken so long to call his name. He's an absolute anchor for this defense, especially from that linebacker position. Does a great job, defensive tackle position. He does a great job in the interior along with my guy, Walkie, and just this entire Caveman front. You know, we talk so much about Hunter Clegg, but there are 3 other guys out there that really battle and fight and do a great job for them as well.
2nd and 19, our third quarter flying by with this running clock. Now they'll hand it to Kenny Kinney. Kenny charging ahead. And Kenny's a guy that, look, he's been bottled up mostly today, but just want to talk about a versatile back that has had a sensational season. It's something you can't take away from his electric rushing style.
Yeah, exactly what you said, JT. And just, again, trying to see Mountain Ridge come up with anything here as it's 3rd and long against this Caveman defense. It's been a struggle all game to see some of these guys be so quiet for Mountain Ridge.
See the blitz comes up. Kenny picks it up, has a man break open, and it's caught. Mountain Ridge going to score on the touchdown. Better late than never for the Sentinels. Crossing the goal line after the catch and run is Kaya Meza.
Yeah, a phenomenal pitch and catch there. And you see, again, Reiser, when he has time, when he has
pitch and catch, I like that.
You know, had to put the leather out for that one, JT. But no glove needed on that one as it was a perfectly thrown ball. And Kai Meza able to score there for Mountain Ridge. Just a very momentous play for them.
This game ain't over just yet. Make sure you come back to KSL Sports Rewind to find out how it's going to turn out.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Sentinels showing a little bit of life here in the 3rd quarter. Jackson Reiser airing one out, and it's hauled in by Kai Meza. Cavemen offense going to go back to work, but it's Lincoln Jackson and this group have been tough to stop all game long, Brian. And one thing I want to give a special shout out to as well, and just talking about this Mountain Ridge team, is Junior Sia. He's a guy I talked with Coach Mayfu about, and Junior, 4-year starter, has just really grown and put the time and the work. He's the kind of guy who will stay after and pick up after everyone as well, and just an incredible player for this team. It's been awesome to see the progress he's made as an athlete as well, and just become one of the premier offensive linemen in the state. I've really enjoyed seeing how he's grown and developed over the course of the season. And I was talking to Tony Parks earlier today, and he said Junior Sia had one of the best pancake blocks he'd ever seen. He called it so nasty that if the guy had been a quarterback, he would have been rubbing the passer.
Yeah, and he's a phenomenal kid off the field as well. You know, I went to a game earlier in the season of Mountain Ridge versus Wasatch, and after the game, happened to see Sia walking around the field, picking up the garbage afterwards. Coaches confirmed he's just a terrific kid, terrific young man, going to have a bright future for him at the next level. It'd be interesting to see.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit.
It's easy to root for, and just a massive, talented human being.
Apologize for our brief delay there as we hit the wrong button, but Champion Edwards now in at quarterback, a guy we expected to see early on, and Lincoln Jackson's day is done. And look, when you need to run the ball, kill some clock, that's what Champion Edwards is for, and he's one of the most electric athletes at the quarterback position in the state. I saw him earlier this season against Pleasant Grove, absolutely put dudes on skates. We saw him against that Bingham defense, too. That was a frustrating day overall, but there were a couple drives where Champion put it all together, and man, was it a sight to behold.
Yeah, and like you said, he's a tremendous athlete playing quarterback, has a lot of physical talents and abilities. Lincoln Jackson just that much more proficient in terms of making decisions and being very versatile, as you see American Fork just gashing this Mountain Ridge defense again. And not to put too much on this group because they've been on the field a lot, but you're seeing there's a lot of wandering from this defense, right? Like they're just kind of beside themselves with what to do, and I think oftentimes when you're watching at home, you think it's an effort thing.
Yep.
But really, it's as much about loss of confidence and confusion, right? Because you just don't know how to fight back.
And it's one of those tough, difficult things as well. They've been on the field a lot, and part of that is on themselves as well, as they haven't been able to get any stops. And Edwards wisely killing clock here, going to snap it under 3 seconds as they'll turn to the ground. But a nice play made. That's once again our guy flying in for another stop, Benjamin Woodruff.
Yeah, Woodruff at number 44 there has been in or around on almost every single play, it feels like. Does a great job filling the vacated space from the pulling guard, pulling tackle there, chasing down the running back from the backside. It's one of those things that's why you're running counter, right? You want to get those angles, and when you slip past that center or whoever's coming down, you just really commend the effort there by number 44, Woodruff.
4 quarters in the books. 3 quarters in the books. We're going to the 4th on KSL Sports Rewind.
Salt Lake Running Company is inspiring our community to move with purpose, embrace adventure, and consciously connect to their bodies. Exercise is essential, now more than ever. Take control of the chaos and make time for you. From the gym to the trail, SLRC can help you find the focus to define your finish line. Visit one of our 5 locations along the Wasatch Front or shop online at slrc.com.
The Sentinels were able to add a score, but so were the Cavemen. Equals our 42-7 score here at American Fork High School. If you're a Caveman faithful, you're having a good time. JT Wistersill, Brian Brown with you on the call. Vince Francis on the camera for us, doing a great job operating the entire rewind system, as he always does. We see some whistles come in. And I want to give a special shout-out right here, right now, Brian. We have barely talked about the officials in this game, and that is what it's supposed to be. They have done an outstanding job letting these guys play as well as, credit the 2 teams. It's been a cleanly played game also, but the officials have not had to intervene in this one, and I think they've done an outstanding job. This is really the first stoppage we've had that we haven't known what's going on, and it doesn't come until the 4th quarter.
Yeah, great job by this crew again, and some of that is just when something goes in favor of one team so heavily so early on, it's really tough to kind of call anything against it, right? But you mentioned the clean execution. That's part of the reason why the score is what it is with American Fork, and why we are where we're at here in the second half at 42-7.
Champion Edwards going to remain in at quarterback for American Fork. He'll drop back. His first opportunity to air one out. Low throw. A little bit of pushing and shoving after the play as well. Tempers understandably run a little high, Brian.
Yeah, and you can see the difference between Jackson and Edwards, right? Edwards has so much velocity on his ball, just trying to force it in there to his receiver. Receiver's well covered. Not a great throw over the middle on second and long. Puts him right into third and long now.
Edwards in third and long. It was a low snap. Edwards going to escape. He's comfortable operating on the move, looking for anyone. He's just going to take off and run. Champion Edwards showing off the wheels.
And that's what makes Champion Edwards such a tremendous asset here for this American Fork football team. The sheer speed, and as soon as he gets to the outside there, he's off and sprinting down the sideline, able to run out of bounds, save the contact, everything like that after a massive gain and a very big conversion. For whatever struggles he has with touch, he more than makes up for it with what he can do with his legs.
Winner of this game, which at the moment looks to be the Cavemen, is going to go on to play the winner of the Weber-Farmington game. Bit of a fun showdown between two top 10 6A teams. Edwards going to keep it to the outside. Edwards flying in the open field. Edwards meets some contact. Edwards spinning, working his way. It's another first down for Champion Edwards.
Yeah, and again, we talk about the athleticism, but there's also a lot of drive and a lot of strength in his run game, and he kind of flips the ball away in frustration. I think he felt like he still had some gas in the tank on that run, but that's really where he adds a wrinkle to this offense, and you're seeing them really burn and churn time off the clock here in the fourth quarter as he can keep that clock moving, both the clock and the chains moving with his legs.
You make a good point. It did look like he was a little frustrated, but at the same time, what did he have, 4 dudes on him? I don't know if he was exactly going anywhere, Champ.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that you love, the competitive fire there.
Champ definitely brings that. We'll see what Edwards can do on this one. 10:06, and only going to be called a false start on the motion. He moves a little too much there. And Brian, this is obviously not the only game going on. We have tons of games going on across our KSL Sports Rewind platform that Vince Francis, Dusty Lister, Dane Stewart, and the rest of our team do a fantastic job on. What scores have your eye, my friend?
Well, I think a big one there early on is Corner Canyon dispatches with Layton 63-18. Looks like Corner Canyon, business as usual, as they're really rounding into form. That was a Layton team that early on in the season we thought was starting to make some big strides.
Edwards going to give it on the ground this time, and another stop made by the Sentinels defense. It's a minimal gain, and that's Woodruff once again.
And again, right now, if you're American Fork, the recipe's pretty simple. You just want to move the football, keep running it, keep possessing the ball, and milking that clock as much as possible.
Yeah, 9:30 to go in this one. Champion, second and long after that run, was engulfed by Woodruff. Woodruff's his guy as well, that he's a senior and has been sensational all game, and some team's going to be lucky to employ him at the next level.
Yeah, absolutely, just a tough, aggressive player.
Champion, clean pocket, he wants it all, airing it out deep, and it's, just miss up top. It looked like it was a great throw by Champion Edwards, but Blake Jensen just couldn't quite haul that one in.
Well, Edwards trying to make me eat my words. It's a beautifully thrown ball with plenty of touch and air underneath it. Just a great job, it looked like, by the Mountain Ridge defender to get a hand out there and try and disrupt the ball. I believe that was number 8, Chase Latuaya, able to knock the ball away at the last second. Otherwise, that would have been another touchdown for this American Fork offense.
The third and long for Champion Edwards. Be interesting to see going forward if we do see next week if it'll be Champion or Lincoln Jackson. Going to be hard not to play Lincoln after a performance like that. Edwards just offs to check it down, and a nice tackle made in space by this Sentinels defense.
Yeah, 4-down territory here, maybe even a punt if you're American Fork. Again, plenty of points on the board. It's all about getting that clock moving and protecting that lead as much as possible. You're doing your job there, getting lots of plays.
We've been looking at some of the scores that catch your eye across the state. Got to give shout out to the West Panthers. We called their game last week. I saw them earlier this season versus the Mater Dei Monarchs. You saw them against Granger. They've looked sensational. That's continuing against West Jordan. They're out to a 21-0 lead in the first quarter. You know that they're putting in work.
Yeah, that's a team that feels very disrespected by the way that they ended the season. Not the way they ended the season, but the way their RPI landed as we see that one bounce into the end zone.
It should have been down easily by the Cavemen.
Yeah.
Just got a little too lax on it as well. But Sesi Bailaki, one of the top players in the save. Isaiah Sui as well, just sensational, and looks like they're doing that work early.
Yeah, and then that's a Westside football team that I feel like very comfortable in saying has an opportunity to play for a state championship in 6A. The talent is there. It's all about discipline for West, and they're showing early on that they're serious about that.
And they're firmly in that contender ranking. I totally agree with you there. Riverton and Davis also locked in a good one, 35-31. No surprising to see Skyridge take care of business. If you guys are curious to check out Skyridge a little bit more as well, as Junior Sia absolutely just engulfs someone as Kenny cuts this one back. Kenny to the opposite side, crosses the 45. Junior Sia just got in the pancake platoon, Brian, in emphatic fashion.
Well, that's the kind of running game that we expected to see from Mountain Ridge. That's the running game that they've relied on all year. You see Kenny able to explode to the outside with the explosive blocking by Lieutenant Saya there. Just a great job by him, able to spring Kenny for a big explosive play.
Big time block by Saya as they'll go back to Kenny, another huge gain. So charge ahead, and Kenny going to be just short of a first down. We saw the phenomenal cutback on the previous run. That time, just using that power to go straight ahead, following the blocks.
Yeah, and as you see some of the backups roll in for American Fork, there's a lot of strength up front from that Mountain Ridge offensive line. Number 42, William Adamson, with a great block and a pancake on that one as well. Back-to-back enrollments into the pancake platoon here, JT.
Something you love to see, and something that's going to happen when you have a 1 versus a 2 defensive line in there at the moment. We'll see if Sia and this group can get a few more pancakes in on that one as Kenny goes ahead. Mountain Ridge offensive line opening up a Waffle House for us here.
Serve shots for everybody right now as there's a lot of pancakes up front. Again, this is what you expected to see from them in the first quarter, right? That's how this program is built. That's how this offense is built. American Fork, been around for a long time, a lot of talent, very deep, very, with the potential to go off with a big play at any point in time. Mountain Ridge a little bit more methodical in their approach, and you're seeing it finally come to realization here in the fourth quarter.
And Junior Saya saying, "I am the machine" on that previous block. Reiser airs it out, nearly intercepted. Receiver had to turn into a DB that time.
Yeah, terrific job by him to knock the ball away from the defensive back. That's one of those plays where normally people would say something foolish like, well, that must be why they play defensive back. It's really hard when you don't know the route and you're in position to make the catch. And then that mean wide receiver on offense has to go knock the ball away, JT.
Offensive PI never gets called in that situation.
Never.
Under 5:50 to go in this one. Reiser returns to the ground to Kenny. Follows the block of Sia. Sia leads it out ahead. Kenny nearly breaks free as Kenny with another first down run.
Yeah, and that's been the biggest problem. They haven't been able to get him to that second level where he can do the most damage. He's so quick. He's so twitchy and runs with such authority that it's really hard for linebackers and safeties to bring him down.
Kind of an injury on the field at the moment, so while they tend to the down Sentinel, we will step away on KSL Sports Rewind.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Stonehaven Dental. Schedule online at stonehavendental.com.
Back here inside. Jackson Reiser in this offense back to work as the injured Sentinel was helped off the field. Reiser fakes it once. Reiser wants it all. Looks deep. And it's just broken up. Sensational play in the secondary by the Cavemen.
Again, one of those plays where if you're a Sentinel fan, you're probably looking for that official to reach in his pocket and throw the flag. But so much contact on both sides. I like that they're letting him play a little bit, especially if a wide receiver has a chance to go get the ball like that. Great job by the American Fork defender, though, to knock that ball away as Riser trying to go for it all on that play.
Yeah, Matthew Fish, the defender, able to disrupt that pass. 2nd and long now facing Riser. They'll return to the ground. There's a charge ahead. Another sensational run for the Sentinels. This time they go to the ground to McCoy Hardman.
Now Hardman does a great job of getting to the outside again. This is what we saw from American Fork all game, the ability to seal the edge. And usually you do that with tight ends, with H-backs, with something in line. And you're starting to see that be more and more effective as we see the 2s and 3s for American Fork here.
I want to give a quick shout out as well to the Alta Hawks currently putting in work versus the Springville Red Devils. They're up 31-0 at the half. Incredible effort as Riser rolls out with a lead blocker in Sia in front of him. And he's going to be draped out. It looks like the one is Riser just too fast for Sia that time. Couldn't follow the block.
Yeah, and listen, that's one of those things where you're an athlete. You're so conditioned to just being able to outrun or outmaneuver everybody. Still trying to learn how to follow the blockers there. Not able to get the touchdown, but this puts... they
did punch it in.
Oh, that's a
I didn't see a
one.
signal over there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see it right now, JT, where the pylon is down. We got an official sprinting to the upright late here.
Yeah, it looks like there was a lot of confusion on that one. Either way, Mountain Ridge, Jackson Riser saying we're done when I say we're done. 4:11 left to go in this one on KSL Sports Rewind.
Mountain Land Power Equipment provides exceptional service and high-quality brands you know and trust in lawn, landscaping, and snow removal products. Our experienced staff of technicians repair all types of snow plows, snow blowers, lawn mowers, small engines, and is trained to answer questions about lawn, garden, snow removal, and landscaping products. Mountain Land Power Equipment, now with 2 locations to serve you in Salt Lake City and Springville.
Sentinels putting some scores on the board late, trimming the lead a little bit as American Fork leads 42-14 here. JT Wistersill and Brian Brown with you wrapping this one up. And Brian, as you look across the state, any other scores that have really caught your eye on this fantastic second round of postseason play in the state of Utah?
Yeah, one in the second quarter right now as we see Syracuse up on Lone Peak 10-7. Bit of a surprise there. Again, Lone Peak, one of those teams coming out of Utah County that's battle-tested and been in every single competition and every single game that they've been in for the most part. That's a big surprise to me. Well, they're not taking anything away from Syracuse because that is a phenomenal football team. Coach Mike Knight and his defense have done a great job as we see
Sentinels, they got it.
Yeah,
Sentinels got the onside kick, trying to make this one interesting. It's, 3:58 left, you never know, but still a little bit of life, and you just see some jovial Sentinels bouncing around over there. Has a sensational onside kick, doing a great job kicking that one as well. There's Brody Laga. Laga's got a leg on him as well. He's had some hits from 40 out this year.
Yeah, Laga's one of those, I believe a junior only, or maybe even a sophomore, but one of those targets where he has a massive leg. I believe he's a soccer player, if I'm not mistaken, but been kicking for a while. Looks like there's some...
I thought it was beyond 10.
Yeah, conversation going on here to try and figure out exactly what the call is going to be. I would be surprised to see this one reversed. But as soon as I say that, I know that usually means that I'm going to eat my words on this one.
We've been kind to the refs up here. Reward us with the onside. Come on, guys.
Yeah, well, if nothing else, it's like we talked about, right? If you're Mountain Ridge, how do you want to go out? How do you want to leave your legacy? And then you see these kids are getting excited. Coach Mike Mayfield, a disciple of Steve Coburn, one of the elite head coaches here at the high school ranks, played it for Steve at Snow College. I did as well. That was one of the biggest parts about Steve's program was we were always special on special teams, and you see Mayfu with the onside kick, and it looks like they are going to get the ball.
So keep it with the Sentinels as we'll see this Mountain Ridge offense come back out. But just going back to the point about Syracuse, the Titans were a team, started the year 0-2, won their last 8 straight as well, earned a first-round bye, wins over Farmington, Roy as well. It's been, Davis also. It's been fun to see them do their thing in absolutely sensational fashion. Also, shout out to Box Elder for avenging an early season loss to Provo as they get the 24-21 there. Riser on the give. Little trickery there as Riser holds on to it. Has the man open, airing it out, and it's deflected Cavemen secondary not fooled is once again in on that stop. It's Matthew Fish. That's the second big play he's broken up in the last 2 drives.
And it doesn't look like there's a new quarterback back there right now, JT, and number 18 for Mountain.
Yeah, it looks like they
Ridge.
decided to go with Rylan Balser. So Balser in. We'll see what he can do for this Mountain Ridge team with 3:15 to play. That clock's going to continue to run because of the score. Will air it out and misses an intended target. See a lot of contact down low as helmet's popping off.
Yeah, a lot of activity down there. And you can see just a little overthrown. One of those ones where, a senior getting into the ball game right now, probably amped up, a lot of juice behind it. Maybe that's some of the reason for the activity is that they wanted to get him in, get him some completions. I didn't see anything from Reiser that made me think that he was injured or hurt, anything like that. And I'd hate to speculate on anything like that on the broadcast as well.
Could just be a point with the game being what it is. We're not sure. Also, I'll have a quick second. Another team shout out. Stansbury in front right now, but Cedar Valley barely closed. That one 14-17 currently. We called that game earlier. We know Cedar Valley has some talent on offense with KJ Fisher and company. Rolling out, buying time. Able to hit his man for a gain of about 6 that time as Balser making plays, but Balser acting like a baller, Brian.
Yeah, exactly, and I believe that was Xander Sudbury that he hit on the reception, right? As we see dipping into the roster a bit here for Mountain Ridge. It gets a little bit tougher for us because we don't know the two deep nearly as well as the coaching staff or the fans out there, but fun to see some of these guys get some catches.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard when you don't know what's going on as it's hauled in. Sometimes, broadcasters don't have the information of what quarterback's going to go out there. All these things can be challenging, right, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're calling a game for Fox Sports, and you show up and find out that all your packages for the starting quarterback are no longer good, and you have to figure out how a pig farmer can lead the Utah team to a victory. So it's something we love to do, JT, and trying to talk and think on the fly is always a fun challenge, and just love watching these kids compete more than anything.
Balser competing right now. He's not going to go out of bounds and continue to run hard as will be forced out of bounds. Coach Mayfew's team, I believe, they have to start thinking about if they want to use a timeout. If they do want to try to get one more score here, because that clock actually did stop, so 1:39.
Under 2 minutes, and the clock stops as he goes out of bounds. And then we see, again, just like we talked about, how do you want to finish your season? How do you want to finish this year? How do you want to finish your career for those guys who aren't going to make it to the next level?
Balser running. He takes a hit, spins off of it as well. He's going to be down at the 1. Going to have a late opportunity for a score here for the Sentinels that, as you mentioned, Coach Mayfew's squad just playing with pride right now. It's fun to watch.
Absolutely. You see Balser out there just really balling out right now, JT, as they run him on the rollout. Points a few defenders. What do we got going on here?
There's some beef on that offensive line, Brian. They just brought in my man 66 as well. Looks like he's ready.
Yeah,
Titus
looks like, is that
Sua.
Saya in the backfield too?
Could be Sia as well. Oh my gosh, Junior Sia going to take a step. Junior Sia trying to get in. Junior,
touchdown.
Junior with the touchdown.
Oh my gosh.
What a touchdown.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Big man touchdown.
The true Thick Six
Hashtag
reveals
Rewind Top
itself.
5.
That's a definite Rewind Top 5. Hear me now, Dusty Lister. Put the big man on the highlight package. What a fun play. This is Saya line up in the backfield. Sneaks under center. I don't know if there was much sneaking going on. Everybody knew what was going to happen. Great job by the big fella to convert. What a fun way for him to go out this season.
PHE was nearly blocked, but they put it through. Nothing could stop the momentum for the Sentinels after that touchdown. 45 seconds left as we have a 21-point game on KSL Sports Rewind.
Mountain Land Power Equipment provides exceptional service and high-quality brands you know and trust in lawn, landscaping, and snow removal products. Our experienced staff of technicians repair all types of snow plows, snow blowers, lawn mowers, small engines, and is trained to answer questions about lawn, garden, snow removal, and landscaping products. Mountain Land Power Equipment, now with 2 locations to serve you in Salt Lake City and Springville.
Junior Sia with the score. What a sensational play. And, you gotta love as well. We noticed he came out of tackle. I noticed before the play that they had brought in number 66, Titus Masua. Masua is a defensive tackle for this team, so it's kind of like what's going on. Then you see Junior. Then you gotta love Junior lumbering around on the motion as well right before he gets under center, and Junior looking like anything but a junior on that one. We'll see another onside kick. This one hauled in by Mountain Ridge. They're going to kneel it down and do it, but just one of those fun moments and an opportunity for a guy that, Coach Mayfu, I spoke to him earlier this week, is so high on Junior's character, all the time and commitment he's put into this program, and rewards him right there with a score on, personally, my favorite play of the high school season.
Yeah, just a really fun play, and look, that's what this game is all about at the high school level. It's about allowing these guys to have fun, to compete, to grow as football players. Yes, Junior C is going to go on and play at the next level. Yes, he's going to be a D1 football player, and yes, he's going to get not only school paid for, but probably some other things along the way. But these are the memories that you can leave with these kinds of guys that they're going to remember forever. I doubt he'll ever have the opportunity to score a touchdown like that ever again.
Unfortunately for Junior Sia and the Sentinels, their season will be over after Champion Edwards takes a knee. They're going to have to snap this, so I guess they just wanted to wait as long as possible. There we go. Champion didn't actually take a knee. He took a few steps before, but either way, what a performance by the American Fork Cavemen. And I'll throw in as well, Lincoln Jackson. We didn't know he was going to get the start. He came in and absolutely lit it up. That's what's got the lights going crazy here as the Cavemen cruise to a 42-21 win.
Now this one was out of control early on, JT, and just never really able to get back into the fight there for Mountain Ridge. This is the epitome of high school sports, right? You have these teams that have fought through the season in American Fork and has so much talent. When you're Mountain Ridge, you're an up-and-comer, you're trying to get to that level, and sometimes you just hit a buzzsaw and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But love the response from Mountain Ridge, especially in the second half. Love what the coaching staff did to try and make it a fun finish and go out on a high note for a lot of these guys. For American Fork, it was all about business, and they handled their business tonight. This is a talented football team. It has an MVP-type candidate in Hunter Clegg. We really didn't have to do a whole lot this game because it was Jackson out there, not dropping dimes, but dropping Lincolns, the receivers all over the place.
Oh, what a performance by Lincoln Jackson we witnessed. So fun to see Jace Hall get involved as well. Jet Nelson, Josh Andrus, Daxon Watts, sensational too. The Caveman defense able to get an interception. This one, Davis Andrews, shout out to him. But for this Mountain Ridge team as well, just putting a bow on their season. Just your final thoughts on what Coach Mayfu has been able to build with this program. They're going to lose some players who have been four-year starters for them as well. Guys like Junior Sia, Kedu Luave couldn't play tonight because of an injury, but we know what a sensational talent he is to Jackson Reeser. Baseball commit for the University of Utah. Still comes out, gives it his all season, and still a very proud season. Got to hang your hats if you're the Sentinels.
Absolutely, and it's all part about the growth and the process of building a program, right? And then, listen, there are teams that get started and schools that are built that never reach the kind of heights that Mountain Ridge has in its short existence. And for Coach Mayfu, a man that I know extremely well, he's built a culture. He's gotten assistant coaches around him to really do a lot with this program and this school. This is not the end for that program, right? There is still a lot of talent. You mentioned Uluave moving on, Sia moving on, but Kini comes back. I believe there's another Taylor Highham. Chase will graduate this year as a senior. But those guys who put in the effort, who stuck in the school, who did the hard things early on, this is the kind of payoff for them to make it to the playoffs, to taste at least one win, and then your season only ends the way you want it to for one team, JT. Yep. And it's such a terrible cliche because I think it overlooks the fact that so many of these kids end their seasons on heartbreak. And I remember when I was a high school player, it was devastating losing my final high school game because football is everything. And so shout out to Mountain Ridge, shout out to that coaching staff, shout out to these young men. There's so much ahead for you. And as a broadcaster, I mean very little in the grand scheme of this, but I'm super proud of that team, proud of those guys. I'm excited to see what's going on in the future for American Fork as they get the victory here tonight.
That will do it for us here in the booth. I will mention, though, if West is able to hold on versus West Jordan 28-0, that would be a fantastic matchup next week. West taking on American Fork. It would be a rematch. We'll see if it comes to fruition. But for tonight, 42-21, the American Fork Cavemen able to advance in the postseason. It's been a fun one out here. For Vince Francis, our cameraman, for Brian Brown as well, I'm JT Wistersill signing off on a fantastic Friday night, and have a good one.